came to someone nobody ever expected. Is somebody you don't even attribute such to. I hope you are getting where I'm going. So that one is what we are saying. That is success. God achieved success. But now, now being able to repeat it. That's why you say, when you talk about champions, sometimes people say consistency is the hallmark of champions. So anybody can achieve success at the time. And what that guy did now, some can say it's just a stroke of luck. It was just lucky at that time. But excellence is an attribute of God, and God does not deal with luck. And God, the Bible says that, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even what? As thy soul prospereth. So God's design or God's understanding is excellence. So God is not giving you something to just happen and then you don't have it again. God wants you to have it over and over and over again. So that's what this is. Let's go on. And so here I'm trying to give some steps, so to say, to attaining academic excellence. And I'm saying, how can one, attain excellence in academics? And I put a picture of King Solomon here. For us as Christians, even Muslims, King Solomon still forever will be the wisest man ever on earth. Not so? Do we agree? Do we agree? Let's talk now. Do we agree? I've heard some people pray before. And I heard somebody pray even in a church, and the person was praying that, oh Lord, give me wisdom more than Solomon. Have you heard that? Or somebody has prayed that kind of prayer before? Has anybody prayed that kind of prayer before? That, oh God, make me wiser than Solomon. You've prayed that prayer. Wonderful. Has any other person prayed? Please, if you've said that kind of prayer, let's just see your hand or just indicate. Yes. It's a normal prayer a lot of people have prayed. But God will never answer that prayer. Unfortunately so. And you know why he wouldn't answer the prayer? Not because he's wicked. Not because he doesn't love you. Not because he loves Solomon more than you. But God can never change his word. And he says, I am God. And I honor my word even above my name. So God is not also quick to make covenants with people. God is not quick to promise you anything. But when God has said his word, he will never go back on that word. And in God's covenant with Solomon, God said, behold, I give you a wise and understanding heart, so that none before you shall ever have that, none after you. So let's not pray that kind of prayer again. If anybody praying that, oh God, make me as wise as Solomon, it cannot still be answered. Please, are you getting it? But Solomon remains an island forever. That is God's will. But what we can pray for is, oh God, make me excellent. Make me wise. Yeah, you can pray. And God will do that. And if we look at that, so if in the world now, nobody has ever been able to attain even half of the wisdom God gave Solomon. So you cannot imagine how Solomon was, those who lived in that time. I hope you can understand. In the world today, we have a lot of geniuses. Not so. People feel, this person is just a genius. But they are saying, God is saying, the gift he gave Solomon, there was nobody that, if you put together all the wise men, before Solomon had an encounter with God, the men of the East in the Bible were referred to as the wise men. I hope we know. There's when you talk about the tribes of Israel, and you talk about Issachar. Who knows the tribe of Issachar? Who knows? And the tribes of Issachar, what are they known for? People that understand the times. They understand the times. They are wise people. They have unusual understanding and discernment. So before Solomon, men of the East, that's where you could find wise people. But when God gave Solomon, and Solomon was nowhere, let's also understand this. Solomon was not wise. He was, in fact, if you have had privilege to study beyond the Bible and watch the movie of Solomon, you understand that he was actually an idiot. Yes. He was far from knowledge. He was somebody who was on the throne and his mother was the one teaching him what to do. He was that ignorant and that stupid, if you like. And that is part of why he understood the need. Where a country like Israel, those days, was like maybe ruling a country like the United States. So you can imagine now putting somebody who doesn't even understand things to rule. So Solomon's fear was, how will he rule these people? There are a lot of, Israel, God has blessed Israel from the Bible. I'm sure we all know. They are God's chosen people. So there are so many wise people in Israel too. So how can you as a king now rule people that are wiser than you. Do you understand? So Solomon was in a fix, found himself in a very dangerous position. But then God told David that he has should anoint Solomon to be king. Please, are we getting this? So that is to show us, I'm using Solomon as a model because one of the things I'll be discussing, you can relate that to Solomon. So let's go on. Let's go on. So I said, now, I'm talking of some steps to attaining academic excellence. Number one is you must accept your inadequacy. Number one. For somebody who wants to go to God, to bless him with excellence, you don't go proud or you don't go believing that, I gave an example of Solomon. And Solomon went from nothing to everything. Solomon was nowhere. In fact, if wise people were going to talk those days, Solomon can never be called into that discussion because he would say something foolish. Do you understand? He was an ignoramus. Somebody who demonstrated ignorance from time to time, repeatedly. Even to the anger of his own mother. How can I have this kind of son? Please, can you understand that? So Solomon went to God with nothing. That he knows nothing. Some people are going to God and say, God, I want you to do this for me, but I also know I'm doing well on my own. Do you know that kind of thing? That I'm not foolish. I'm intelligent too. But I just want you to help me crown. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you say that to God, you can say that to a fellow man. That, me too, I know something now. I'm not a moo now. And this thing I'm saying, me too, I've read. But to God, someone that has all the knowledge, that thing you say you know is so infinitesimal. It's like a grain of sand. Do you understand? And to you, you are thinking you know nothing. Before that God is like, you know nothing. But that little thing he sees, also will make him not to want to. He's afraid of you. And always afraid of you that if you can have this tiny thing, and to you that tiny thing looks like a mountain, how much more if he now, do you understand? And so the Bible always talk about God is interested in people that are already puffed up and believe God is not usually interested. God is interested in the person that is casted, like somebody rejected. So that person will come humble to God. Those kind of people, God will use them now to confound the wise. Please, are you getting me? So number one is you must accept your inadequacy. Doesn't mean you shouldn't know anything. Get me right. Doesn't mean you shouldn't also have self-confidence. But I'm saying to God, this is where I'm going. To God, now in talking to God, in praying to God, you must assume you know nothing. Are we getting this? You must approach God with humility. So number one, and the only way you can do that is to accept your inadequacy. Because if you feel you're adequate, you have no reason to also want to go to God to ask for something. I hope you're getting this. And that is number one thing Solomon did. Solomon understood, and really in the real sense, Solomon was a write-off in the real sense. But he understood it. And that is what this is talking about. So I've tried to explain that. And James chapter 4 verse 6 also still speaks on that. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisted the what? Proud. And gives grace to the humble. I'll be quick to also speak on this quickly. Pride in Africa, understanding of pride and humility is very wrong. I don't know who knows what I mean. The way we judge pride and humility here is not usually correct. How do we judge humility? Oh, somebody kneels down as a lady to greet everybody. She's humble. Somebody prostrates, lie down flat and that kind of, very humble. If you say very humble boy, very pleasant. When I was growing up, I had that issue because I didn't know how to prostrate well. In my house, they say, greet people, prostrate. So I do like this. And that was how we were brought up. So, then when we are going out, maybe with the parents, and then they meet their friends, and then some of the friends have taught their children how to, because I saw people do lessons on prostration. So they've taught the child how to level up to the ground. Do you understand? Anywhere, any kind of surface. So when we now maybe go to a family and maybe they are friends, the children just come, like when you want to swim, boop, 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 you see all of them, all the boys are ready. The girl is immediately like that, and then, it's now your own turn to greet, and then you're doing like this. So And then my mom, at times from there, she will slap you there. From there. The man will say, no, 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 leave them now. Say, no, we have been training these children. They refuse to collect training. Do you know where I'm going? And when we go, my mom will still beat you more on the road. My mom is the one that will pick you with your ears. I don't know, with the 2 ears and raise you up. We have seen that. Some wonderful kind of beating. There's some kind of, in Yoruba, they call it abara. I don't know who knows that. Some kind of abara she gives. If she give you that thing, sometimes your spinal column, for like 2 minutes, you are shocked. You are trying to recover yourself. You just stay in shock. You cannot move. I'm telling you, when she gives you. So kind of, and when she's beating, she'll tell you because you are disgracing me. And they will think I did not train my children to be respectful. And then they will think that you are proud. You children, you are proud. You know, because Africa, we rate pride like that. It's not bad, it's our culture, it's good, it's a good culture too. But to God, God does not rate humility and pride like that. You know, because God sees what man does not see. Because you can lie down, you can prostrate, you can do all those things, but in your mind, you can have, you know, a very strange order of pride inside you that nobody sees. Do you know? Yes. But God sees that thing. So that's what this is talking about. So when we talk about pride and humility, is as are judged by God. Only God can judge it. You can't judge anyone on humility or pride. What you can do is to just look at some traits. Okay, this person looks proud. But some people think they are proud. It might just be that they are shy. Yeah. There are people who are shy, and on account of their shyness, they don't talk to people. And their own defense is to behave that way, and it looks like, oh, this guy is always full of himself. I hope you're understanding these things. So the Bible also says, judge not, that ye be not judged. But people will not hear. That scripture, people don't like to hear it. The Bible has said it, judge not, that ye be not judged. Remove the speck in your eye. Speck is very small, very tiny thing. Remove that one first, so that you can see clearly. Because if you want to help somebody to remove a log, you have to see. A speck is still in your own eye. You want to remove a log, remove the one. So God is talking to us proverbially. So are we getting these things now? So that is the first point. The second one, let's go on. So, and you could see that Solomon understood this. And Solomon actually went to God in humility. Number 2 is we must also acknowledge that God is the only one that gives talents to anybody. Especially in our world today, we have a lot of wrong ideologies. I've seen people that say the devil also gives gifts. Have you heard that before? Have you heard it before? Let's talk now. It's very rampant. Say that it's the devil now. That's what are Illuminati now. It's not the devil that is giving them. It's the devil is giving people wisdom, giving people money. You've not heard these things. Yes. But the truth, this is a very common thing people say, but the truth is, the devil cannot, mark my words, cannot give anybody anything. Nothing. Nothing. But the devil is powerful in his own way. And the devil can actually take possession of what God has given you and make you subject to him. Yes, that's what the devil does. The devil does not give anybody. The devil, the power to give gifts, it's like the power to create a human being. Only God has those powers. Only God can create. Only God can give talents, gifts. Only God. But the devil, you need to know the devil is also very powerful. So what the devil can do is that you can have a gift, but you don't even know what you have. And everybody also, there's a time in your life you will go through, everybody has to go through a very difficult period. When you read the story of Job, you see it there. So every human being goes through a difficult period. That difficult period is what the devil waits for. That's the time God will also remove his hand and allow the devil try you. So that difficult period is when people become suicidal. People become depressed. That's normal for every human, because that is like the whole problem in this world is only on that person. Are you getting this? And then the intensity will be increasing as the person is approaching success. The closer. Those now in medical school now, you know that when you're in 600 level or 500 level now, is the time you start thinking of, I'm tired of this course. Yes. Those in doing a 4-year or 5-year course, when you start approaching 400 level, it's like, whew, can I just? But 100 level, you didn't think of that too. 100 level. Because the closer you get to success, now the devil wants to also increase your pain and displeasure. And that's the time I remember that, okay, I've been these 2 since my parents, they don't even send me money. How am I going on? I get where I'm going. So that is exactly how the devil operates. So, but in that time, in that lowest time, is when some people now go to look for help. Go to native doctors. Some go to spiritualists. Some go to Hindus. Do you understand where I'm going? Some go to palm reader you should have in 2 years. They bring it forward for you in a month. And I put a double-minded person will not receive anything from God. It's in the Bible. Has anybody heard that before? A double-minded man will not receive anything from God. God does not operate with, 80% trust. So people have 80% trust in God, and they have 20% doubt in God. You see, 80% is good, though. That's A. Not so. So people have 70%, but he's not interested in any of that. Even 99%, even 99.9%. Someone who has 99.9% trust in God just has 0.01% doubt. But that 0.01%, God will not give it. So God is saying absolute. And absolute says 100%. So it's only those that trust in God completely, having no other option, having no other alternative, they are the ones that would be able to get anything from God. I see Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding in all thy ways. It didn't say in some of thy ways. In all thy ways, acknowledge one thing. One thing. One thing. As well as say, oh God, I need money. I need a wristwatch. Do you understand where I'm going? That one thing. For Solomon, the only thing he was looking for was wisdom. He wasn't asking God for anything. He didn't ask God for even riches. He didn't even ask God that, as a king, you should be interested also in the life of your enemies. Because the earlier your enemies die, the longer your reign. Not so. Solomon didn't even ask God, that will help me kill my enemies. Give me a peaceful reign. He has, every time, all he had in his mind was what? Wisdom. But he desires so many other things. Desire money, cars. But if you are also wise, you know that wisdom will bring all those things. So that's what this is saying. And and you shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me. With what? All your heart. So that's how God operates. And I like the way the Bible is written. So complete. All is there to qualify. And so that's on that. So let's go on quickly. And here I put, you must also have a humongous quest for knowledge. Anybody who says you want to attain excellence in academics, it must be that naturally you also like to know things. You want to know. You are not comfortable hearing things you don't know, and you sit down, and you still go 3, 4, 5 days eating, and it doesn't bother you. I get where I'm going. If you say you want to be excellent academically, that means naturally you want to know, not even because of exam now. I'm not talking of people wanting to know because of exam. The teacher somebody says that, sir, in the mid-semester now, what if the question comes out like this in a class? Say, in the exam, what if it goes like this? You see that person's approach is what? The end justifies the means. The person is not really learning to know. The person is learning for exam. You see, and then the grades at the end of exam, A, B, C, they are good, but they are not really what measures knowledge eventually. But we say a genuine desire to know must be in every person who wants to excel. So let's go on quickly. And then I put here also understanding God's purpose for you. Very important. Very important. You see, Solomon now, when he asked God for wisdom, oh God, make me wise. Do you also know when he went and offered the 1,000 bath